Hey BookTube, how's it going? It's week 4 of Pentathon. What a crazy ride this has been so far. Um, Steve beat me to the video today because I wasn't going to finish Foundation and Earth by Isaac Asimov, but I ended up finishing it sort of on accident. And it took me a little longer than I thought it would. So, yeah, so that's done. So now I could get right in it. So, what I decided I was going to do, there was a part of me that wanted to just reread some Raymond Chandler, which is still a possibility. But what I thought I would do is pick up my big giant books and would find something to read with you here. So first we have the Black Lizard Big Book of Pulps, the best crime stories from the pulps during the Gilded Age, the 20s, 30s, and 40s. So we'll check these out. The biggest, the boldest, the most comprehensive collection of pulp writing ever assembled. Don't ask what that accent is because I really don't know. So I will pick something out of here. Actually, since the table of contents is like 2 pages long, I will not do that on camera because that could be boring. So I will pick something out of here. I will pick something out of here. The Black Lizard Big Book of Black Mass Stories. The greatest crime fiction from the legendary magazine. So I'll do that. Ooh, Lester Dent. Maybe I'll read some Lester Dent. So, yeah, I'll do that. What else we got here? Raymond Chandler, Dashiell Hammett, John D. MacDonald, Horace McCoy. Maybe I'll do Horace McCoy. I don't know. I really... It's a very odd book, but, what's it called? They shoot horses, don't they? Or something like that. I think that's what it's called. That was a really weird book. It left me almost with the same kind of feeling as On the Beach did, but that's a Horace McCoy novel. And I really, I liked it, but it's odd. And I'm not sure why I liked it, but I did. Then I am going to pick up Carol John Daly. This is volume 1. Them that lives by their guns. The collected hard-boiled stories of Race Williams. Okay, that's enough of that. And now, like, really little, it's like, oh yeah, creator of the hard-boiled detective story. Yeah, so I really want to make sure everyone knows who Carol John Daly is. He might not have been the best writer in the world, but he pretty much created the hard-boiled detective. And some would applaud him for that, and some would try to shoot him for that. But the positive there is that almost nobody remembers him, and yeah. So one of my favorite things he ever said, and this is going to be extremely paraphrased because I have a shit memory when it comes to exacting things, was that he couldn't believe that Mickey Spillane got rich off of copying him. And take that however you will. But it's definitely a funny thought, because according to him, Mike Hammer is basically Race Williams, and I don't think so. Like, Race Williams to me is more like how what's his name? We just talked about him. Steve Costigan from last week's Robert E. Howard. Not necessarily how he treats women and all that other stuff, but like how he acts and how he is. I see Race Williams more like that guy. So, you know, it is what it is. But yeah, that predates the Continental Op. That predates Philip Marlowe. It predates Sam Spade. Race Williams was the first. But when I just watched Steve's video, actually, and he brought up the essay Simple Art of Murder, and I don't know how many people have actually read that. So I don't know if you remember when I got this, but I was over the moon because this book is in like perfect shape, other than the spine kind of going over a little bit. Like, you could only tell on the price and on that thing. But yeah, so Raymond Chandler. Now, this isn't the whole Simple Art of Murder. Simple Art of Murder is like 10 pages. It's not that long at all. But it is quite the eye inside of how this whole genre works. And I'm really glad I watched Steve's video first, because he mentioned this, and if he didn't mention it, I wouldn't have brought it up. But it was just like a light bulb. So, like, for those of you who are writers, if you haven't read Simple Art of Murder, slap yourself, but go find Simple Art of Murder and read it. I'm sure it's online. It's an essay. I'm sure you could find it online for nothing. It's just, Raymond Chandler has a way of stringing things together. Like, here's my big, like, beef, because a lot of people, I feel, prefer Dashiell Hammett to Raymond Chandler. And I think a lot of that still stems from, like, Humphrey Bogart playing Sam Spade and stuff like that. But honestly, like, Raymond Chandler's Philip Marlowe is like a buddy talking to you, trying to tell you something really serious, but in a very human way, that just sheds light on who he is as a person. Okay, Dashiell Hammett, to me, feels too instructional. I'm not saying he's bad, because that is not at all what I'm saying. He's a great writer, or was a great writer. But when I read his stuff, it just doesn't pop to me like Chandler. I would say the one exception to that for me is Red Harvest. That's a Continental Op story. And it is so flippin' good. It is so flippin' good. So if you want something to read this week, pick up frickin' Red Harvest, because it is really good. And it feels timeless. And honestly, all Philip Marlowe stuff, I feel like, feels timeless. Even people who freaking hate, I mean, I don't think anyone really hates it, but like Playback, that's not a very popular Philip Marlowe, Raymond Chandler novel. But I mean, I think that is great and still holds up. It might not be as good as Big Sleep or The Long Goodbye or The High Window or anything like that, but it's still better than like 98% of the crap that was churned out in the 30s. So anyway, with that being said, that's what I'm going to be going over. I'll do a video probably tomorrow to give you an update on what's going on. The next thing I want to talk about real quick is this morning I recorded the second episode of the Pulp Fiction Literary Podcast. And I'm sure people like Steve love hearing those words together. But, Steve's telling Batman jokes, and he's about to get it. But no, seriously, I recorded the episode. It was like an hour and some change, and then I accidentally deleted it and couldn't get it back. This ruined my morning, and it really ruined me. So I think what I'm going to do now is after this gets uploaded, I'll probably do a live show tonight and just go over all the stuff on here that I was going to go over on the podcast. And maybe if I'm not too distracted, because I'm going to edit it up afterwards and do an audio feed of it. But hopefully I can keep the ball rolling. So if you watch this as soon as it goes up, just be on the lookout for a notification saying that that is happening. So happy Pentathon. Pentathon. When you name a read-along, make sure you know what the name is and that you could remember it. It's really important, okay? So until next time, everybody, I will see you in a few minutes.